Hello and welcome to this video on our time in Chamonix. We had such a great time in Chamonix, one definitely not to be missed, and we can't wait to return. In this video I'm going to talk about how we got to Chamonix, as well as recommendations of places that we visited which really made our trip. So if you are visiting Chamonix, you're more than likely going to be flying into Geneva Airport. As we flew late afternoon, when we got to Geneva, we took up the opportunity of having a couple of hours exploring the centre of Geneva. We stayed overnight at the airport, and then the following morning we took a Flixbus to Chamonix. This only took a couple of hours and in our opinion was great value for money. It was $16.99 for an adult return, which we had previously booked online. When we took our first step off the bus in Chamonix, we knew we were going to love it. The town itself is made up of beautiful wooden buildings and surrounded by snow-capped mountains. We walked around for a couple of hours before we could check in our hotel, and safe to say we absolutely loved it. So the first thing I wanted to share with you, which you should definitely not miss while visiting Chamonix, is Cascade du Dard. Cascade du Dard is a waterfall which is not too far from Chamonix, only about a 40-45 minute hike. We actually ended up going up to the waterfall twice because we loved it so much. The first time we went up there we took a much harder route, so definitely look out for the path across the car park, as this is a much easier route to take. Another reason why we wanted to come back up to the waterfall is because there's a restaurant at the top. Unfortunately, the first time this was closed, so we wanted to come back and try the fondue which we had spotted on the menu. The fondue is definitely worth the hike and such a lovely treat after a long day hiking in Chamonix. It was such a beautiful experience sitting in the treetops with the mountains to one side and the waterfall to the other, eating our fondue with a glass of wine and soaking up the scenery. Next on my list has to be Aiguille du Midi. I'm sure you've seen it when researching Chamonix, and I would say it has to be done. We bought the 2-day multi-pass, which I would recommend because it allowed us to go up to Aiguille du Midi twice. For those of you that don't know, Aiguille du Midi is a 3,842 metre tall mountain which has views of Mont Blanc. You get to the summit by riding 2 separate cable cars. The views from the cable cars are amazing, but when you get to the top, it is just unbelievable. Like I said before, we got the multi-pass, which I would recommend. The multi-pass allowed us to be a lot more flexible. As I said before, there's 2 cable cars to get to the top. When we first went up there, we had amazing views, and the second day we went up there again, the views weren't so great, so we came back down to the middle cable car where we sat and enjoyed the view and ate our lunch. We then went back up again later on, and unfortunately the view was still cloudy, but we still had that option to be a lot more flexible. When you get off the top cable car, there's lots of walkways inside and outside to different viewpoints, as well as a lift which takes you all the way up to the top to a restaurant. There is also a glass room with a glass floor where you can have a photo opportunity and step into the void. There was a little queue for this when we arrived, but I'm so glad that we waited. The queue went really quick and it was a good experience to have. They take photos of you on your phone, so this is something that you can take away to remember, and I would definitely say it's well worth it. It's also included in your ticket price. The next place that I would like to recommend is a lovely little cafe called Chalet de la Floria. We luckily found it on a long hike, so it was a welcome treat to take a break, enjoy the view and have something to eat and drink. It is situated on one side of the valley overlooking Chamonix town and has stunning views. Next up is the Montanvers train, which takes you to see Mer de Glace, a glacier in the northern slopes of the French Alps. This red cogwheel train lasts about 20 minutes, taking you from Chamonix town centre to the Montanvers station, with unforgettable views of Chamonix along the way. As I said earlier, we got the multi-pass and this train ride was included in our ticket, so definitely don't forget about this one as it's well worth a visit. So from a short walk from Montanvers station you can see an amazing view of the glacier. One thing to take note is there's also an ice cave, however as we were visiting at the end of May, start of June, this was unfortunately closed. So definitely do expect if you're coming off season or in between seasons that things will be closed. This was also the same with some of the cable cars from Chamonix town, so definitely do check about this because some things are definitely closed during this time. Thank you very much for watching this video. I have really enjoyed making it and we really did enjoy our time in Chamonix. So if you have any questions, please do get in touch. Me and my husband work full time, but we travel as much as we can, and I make these videos to try and share the places that we have been to and that we would recommend. Thank you so much for watching and hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.